You ever have that feeling that something awesome is about to happen? Well, I have it right now. How's it going, everybody? This is Dave LeClaire with MUO Tech Bytes, and it is time to take a look at the biggest tech stories from the last couple of days. We are going to jump in, we are going to dissect the news, we're going to figure out why it's important and why you should care, and then we're going to say goodbye, because that will be the end of the episode, so kick back, relax, and let's go. Apparently, Facebook's hate speech detection AI is paying off big time for the company, as it has seen a giant drop in the amount of hate speech that actually makes it to post. According to Facebook's Community Standards Enforcement Report, the company has seen a substantial drop in hate speech, and that comes thanks to the AI that it has developed that is more efficient at detecting hate speech and removing it, thus preventing it from making its way to the social network. Now, this was from the period from October to December of 2020, which is the most recent report that we have from Facebook, and it actually sounds quite promising for making the social network a better place for people to use. According to the report, for every 10,000 views of content on the social network, only 7 or 8 views were something hateful. Now, that's a very minimal amount of hateful content when you consider how many 10,000 views is. To only have a number below 10 of those actually be something that is considered hateful is quite impressive. Obviously, it would be nice if it was 0, but realistically, that's going to be quite hard to achieve. Additionally, Facebook took action on 6.3 million harassment and bullying posts, which is an increase from 2.5 million in the previous quarter. So again, Facebook is doing a pretty good job of policing its social network, and it seems as though the results are paying off. Another impressive thing is the amount of content that Facebook was able to remove before users reported it. Facebook calls this its proactive rate, and it saw a huge jump from quarter 3 to quarter 4 in 2020. On Facebook, it jumped from 26 to 49%, which is a huge increase to the amount of times that Facebook was able to jump on top of a piece of harassment or hateful content and remove it before a user actually had to report it, because if a user had to report it, that means a user had to actually see it and deal with it. The reason this is so important is because Facebook has had to turn to its AI more than it has in the past. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, its moderators have not been able to work as efficiently as possible, and the AI has been stepping up to do its job and fill in the blanks where the human moderators can't. Now, obviously, at some point, hopefully, Facebook moderators will be able to return to work as normal, as the rest of us can return to work as normal, as more of the COVID-19 vaccines roll out. But for the time being, it seems like the AI is doing a pretty good job. Do you find that Facebook feels like a safer place, or do you think it's still just not safe at all? Let us know in the comments what you think. Apparently, Android users are more likely to be better partners than iPhone users, based on the amount of annoying phone habits that they have. The study comes from Compare My Mobile, and it surveyed 2,000 smartphone users, and it talked to them about annoying smartphone habits that their partner has. And as it turns out, in every single category, iPhone users were more likely to commit these smartphone atrocities than Android users were. Some of the annoying offenses include using your phone while watching a movie, using your phone while driving, which is not only annoying but is incredibly dangerous, creeping other social media profiles that are not your partners while you're using your phone, and things like that. And again, as mentioned, iPhone users were more likely in every category to commit these atrocities than Android users were. Now, not only were iPhone users more likely to commit these acts, but men were more likely to commit these acts in most categories. There are some categories where women were more likely, but as a whole, men are more likely to be annoying with their smartphones. Now, outside of being better partners, it turns out that iPhone users are more likely to get a date than Android users. If their device is known by a potential partner, iPhone users score more dates than Android users as a whole. Perhaps that's because fellow iPhone users don't like seeing that green text in the text message, or maybe they're just snobs, I'm not sure. I won't judge. But either way, according to the study, if your smartphone is known and you are known to have an iPhone, you're more likely to get a date. Make sure to check out the full article in the description, which shows all the graphics and breaks down everything you need to know. It goes into more detail about the specific results and the specific numbers. But all I will say is, what kind of phone do you have, and what kind of partner are you? Nothing gets me more excited than a new flagship smartphone. There's just something about seeing what kind of innovation the smartphone makers are going to bring to the phones and what they're going to change. What's going to be the new camera? What processor are they going to use? What RAM are they going to use? Maybe I'm just a nerd, but I really get excited by smartphones. And the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra certainly has me going, because this thing looks really cool. Now, it's important to note that this is just a leak right now, so we don't know for sure if this is what the phone is going to look like or if any of these features are going to be real, but the leak looks very legit and has been reported by just about every reputable Android website on the internet. So it could be real, but just take it with a grain of salt. Now, if it does end up being real, this phone looks incredible. The back of it is where it really stands out. It has 120 times zoom with a really beastly camera setup, and that's cool. But what really makes it interesting is the tiny screen on the back. With that, you can take selfies using the rear cameras instead of the inferior front-facing camera. Though it does still have a 20 megapixel front-facing camera through a hole punch. It looks decent. But let's be honest, you want to use the telephoto lens and the beefy lens on the back to take really cool selfies. And if this ends up being real and it does actually have this little screen on the back, it's a pretty cool innovation from Xiaomi. The other thing that really grabbed my attention about this phone is the 67 watt charging for both wired and wireless. That is ridiculously fast, a lot faster than the regular Xiaomi Mi 11, so you'll be able to juice up those phones in minutes. I mean, if your phone is dying, you plug it in, 30 minutes later, you're going to be almost full. It's crazy. It also has 10 watt wireless power sharing, so you can charge your other devices off of your phone. And the phone is supposed to come with a 5000 mAh battery, which is quite large, quite a bit bigger than the regular Mi 11. So it should be able to keep your other devices juiced up while keeping itself running for a long time. And hey, if it runs out, you can charge it in like 5 minutes, so who cares? It also has a 120 Hz refresh rate and a Snapdragon 888 processor. Again, that is the same as with the Mi 11, but still very nice specs that are going to be very fast. Now, we expect this phone to be closer to $1,000 than the Xiaomi Mi 11, which was in the $750 range. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit more expensive if it comes with all these extra features, an extra screen on the back, bigger battery, faster charging, all that stuff is going to jump the price a little bit. So we're expecting this to be less of a budget-friendly flagship, which makes sense. It has Ultra in the name. It's going to be packed with a few more features, which means it's going to come packed with a much higher price. But if this ends up being real and all this ends up being true, this very well might be my next phone because this thing looks awesome. All right, folks. There you have it. Another episode of MUO Tech Bytes locked and loaded in the books, ready for your enjoyment. I hope you found this episode enlightening. I hope you found it entertaining. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that other good stuff. And we will see you guys in the next one.